Now, in terms of long-term relationships, what have you found are the main reasons that couples oftentimes start to have issues in their relationship?
The word that I've used before is the disconnecting. They disconnect. They just get further and further apart. And why? It's usually because what I alluded to before is that, we, in the beginning of relationships, there's really no pain. It's all fun and games, excitement usually. But as time goes on, especially if we get committed, live together, maybe get married, maybe have kids, my partner's going to annoy me. I'm going to get frustrated. I'm going to get let down. I'm going to get disappointed. And if we don't know how to share and stay connected to each other, and maybe our parents, my parents, and maybe your parents, maybe they either just avoided conflict or they screamed a lot at each other, or one person screamed, the other person hid. There's all kinds of variations. But what I didn't see is mom says to dad, I'm really angry at you. And dad leans over in his chair and goes, all right, I get it. I'm here. Tell me more about that. If we didn't see that, and most of us didn't, then, as our pain accumulates, we get more disconnected through fight or flight behaviors.
Okay.
I think that's probably the most important thing that leads to more withdrawal, disconnect, infidelity, divorce, and if we could learn how to connect, of course, sometimes people come to me after the crisis has happened, but if it's before, that's the best. But if it's in the middle or after, we still have to learn how to connect. And what do we mean? To connect by what I'm saying, to be honest, to share, to become good listeners, to learn how not to be defensive, and it takes a lot of emotional muscle, a lot of evolution that a lot of us haven't developed automatically. So, the relationship has to be seen to me as a gymnasium to develop emotional muscle. My ability to listen to my wife when she's angry at me I had flaccid muscles when I first got married. She'd get angry at me. I would just say, screw you, or heck with you, or get over it, or stop overreacting. That would be, and the only reason I did that was a way to calm myself down. It wasn't anything about being helpful to her, but as I developed my emotional muscle, I'm mad at you. I could calm myself down enough to not have to tell her to be quiet so I could feel better. I go, and literally what I teach men to do, and women too, but I say, okay, you're angry at me. Tell me more. That's the opposite of our reflex. Tell me more. Tell me, what are you angry about? So
once I learned that skill, I actually found that if I was with somebody and they got mad at me, I almost got excited. Like, oh crap, I get to use this muscle now.
Oh,
please.
Wow. Harry, that's great. That's so rare. But yeah, if a person could,
that's a time. Like I'm 40 now, so it's easier now than it was back.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God. And I was actually going to ask you, do you find that couples taking the way their partners appearing in certain ways, too personal, to where that can also be a cause of it? Say, a typical one is a guy doesn't, take out the trash when his wife says she wants him to, and then she starts taking it personal, it's a personal attack on her. Do you find that also can cause issues to pop up?
Oh yeah, I deal with that a lot of times with people, especially. That's a great example. Women go, "Oh, you don't think I'm important?" And I go, "Well, you're making it about you, but it's really about him being self-absorbed, and maybe his father was self-absorbed, or maybe that's what he saw, or maybe he's just being lazy, and he needs to learn how not to be. It's really not about you." So it is very important. I have that with a lot of things. With we take things too personal. It's like my story about, I was going to say the red onion, because that was it was a Mexican restaurant back in the 80s. But my story, when I came, when I was taking things personally, rather than, hey, they're scared too. Maybe I was coming up scared and needy in my emotions, and maybe it was about, ooh, this guy's too hungry for approval, but it really didn't make me bad. It was just, so I'm saying men too need to learn how to not take anything personally. Instead, wow, how come you don't take out the trash? I mean, what's that about? I mean, why don't you do that? What goes on with you? And he might say, I don't know, I feel like you're just bossing me around. which is not the case actually, usually.
Right. But feeling Tony's yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's about his way of the meaning that he's putting on her request is the issue. It's not really about her. He has this fight inside of himself. Like, I'm not going to tell him, she just can't tell me what to do. That's an example versus, what I teach men is like, she's not trying to tell you what to do. She just needs a little help, Yeah. Take a few things off her plate. She might want to have sex with you,
You need to call her on her cell phone.